money trouble continues. And now, Don Daler.
Pick a generation, and they had their own illicit races. Go back far enough, and I suppose they did it with horses, or the family Model T, the family station wagon, hot rod Chevys. For me, it was a Firebird Formula 400, leaving black smoke and a quarter-inch of rubber on Texas asphalt. The car styles change with the times, but they've always been fueled by that explosive combination of hormones and horsepower. But what's changed is how much money people pour into these cars and how the expense is consuming their lives.
It's not something that I would wish upon anybody else. You know, I've spent a lot of money on it, a lot of time, blood, sweat, tears.
It sounds like an addiction. It really does.
It really is. I mean, if they have a 12-step program, please, you know, admit me.
Chris Johnson and his girlfriend, Jenny Fulkerson, are having a little disagreement about money.
Some of the outfits are $60, $70, you know, and she'll wear it once.
The good news is they're expecting a baby, a little girl. When is the baby due?
September 8th.
The bad news is he already has two demanding mistresses, an illegal sport called street racing, and a modified Pontiac Trans Am that can do 180 miles per hour. Would you say that Chris's car is his first love?
Yes. A lot of times his car feels more important to him than I am. And that's a very, something very sensitive for me because, of course that hurts. Nothing's too good for, can't be washed enough, can't be waxed enough, no amount of money to spend on her is too much.
Street racing has never been bigger, faster, or more brazenly out in the open. Go to almost any major city and you'll find young people gathered at some strip mall or fast food joint with their hopped-up vehicles, itching for a challenge. Then racing each other on the street at speeds your father only dreamed of.
I've took it up to 160 already.
160.
I had room for more, but it's just too scary.
But speed costs money. Many of these people spend every cent they have to turn ordinary cars into road rockets. They can go 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. How much money have you put into this car?
Approximately about $45,000.
75, 80,000.
$80,000.
At least, yeah.
Near Dallas, where Chris lives, seems like these are common. Hundreds of people line this impromptu drag strip to party and to cheer on renegade drivers. The drivers could go to jail if the cops could catch them.
Turn around in the truck.
In San Jose, California, police do show up and try to shut down the weekly races.
Just turn off the car and leave it here.
They make arrests, impound vehicles, issue citations, but they barely make a dent. Cops know they're overwhelmed, and they know next week the cars will be back.
It's just getting really out of control.
Later, our undercover cameras will show you just how out of control. For Chris, who's already been jailed twice for street racing, it's irresistible.
Just actually all of it. The thrill of maybe getting caught, just putting your foot to the floor, almost willing your car to go faster on the highway or on the street, because you're kind of, go.
So he constantly works on his vehicle, trying to coax more speed out of it. Though he's paid pretty well as a computer consultant, his tricked-out Trans Am guzzles nearly every dime he brings home.
The intake here, roughly those are about $150. I think I paid about $100 for that mass airflow meter. That was roughly $200. The heads in the cam, that ran me roughly about $6,000.
Chris figures he spent nearly $90,000 to buy two cars and load them up with all the latest goodies. Between his car payment, insurance, gas, and bills for all those upgrades, he's shelling out $2,500 a month.
And a lot of the times I think I have no idea how much he's actually spending.
When it comes to spending, the car has no competition, not even the baby.
For me, it's all good. I'm very happy that we're having a baby. We've spent a lot of money already. I mean, we've done pretty much everything we can until she gets here.
But you don't have savings?
No, we don't.
You don't have a college fund?
No.
And you're dropping $2,500 a month into the Trans Am?
Yep.
That $2,500 a month that he spends on his car, what kind of place do you think that could get you?
I could have a 6-bedroom house. Easy.
Instead of a 6-bedroom house, Chris, Jenny, and her 5-year-old son from a previous marriage make do with a 2-bedroom apartment. And it's always a struggle to make ends meet.
7/18/54.
You need to check with them about refinancing and get a lower car payment.
The Trans Am isn't very practical since Chris ripped out the back seats. Besides, Jenny refuses to ride in it. As for the baby,
I do not want her in that car.
it isn't just the noise. Jenny says if Chris is challenged on the highway, he'll race, no matter who's in the car.
Let me get this straight. You have actually been in the car, pregnant, and he's gotten into a highway race, and you've asked him to stop, and he wouldn't stop.
Right. I can't tell you how many times he's finally pulled over after racing on the highway, and I'm literally crying.
Now, if you know that scares her, why would you do that? Why can't you just say no to that challenge?
I don't know why. It's just that there's always that little chance for an adrenaline rush.
So while Chris goes racing, Jenny stays home with her 5-year-old.
Do you worry that he's out going 130, 150 miles an hour?
Oh, yeah. I tell him all the time my daughter will be an orphan before she's born.
In fact, police say there have been at least 13 racing-related deaths in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in the past 5 years. Chris's racing buddy, Jason Forte, says they're all aware of the danger.
I'm curious if you and your friends talk about if you really know that you're putting other people at risk here.
Well, we know. We don't try to talk about it. Kind of makes us nervous, kind of takes the focus off. I mean, as long as we're focused, we're fine. We try to be as safe as possible by going to deserted streets, deserted areas, racing at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, if possible, running on the highway where there just really is nobody.
But that's not the way it goes the night we tag along. Our cameras are concealed, so none of the drivers will be tempted to show off for our benefit. Chris and Jason bring us to a big strip mall where local car owners go to find someone to race. Though it's a weeknight, the place is jammed. There must be 1,000 people here. Of the 300 or so cars here tonight, fully half of them have at least a couple $1,000s worth of obvious modifications. The average age of the driver, though, early 20s. It doesn't take long for Chris to find a challenger. A guy with a white Toyota Supra wants to take on his Trans Am.
I race Steve driving the white Supra.
I ride shotgun with Chris. My producer follows in a chase car with Jason. It's about 10:30 p.m., prime time, and there are lots of other cars out here.
This is crazy. I mean, there's just a lot of traffic out here.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Instead of blocking off streets or going to a deserted area, these guys are going to run on an open highway. According to police, the most dangerous place to race. They take off and reach speeds of 130 miles an hour before traffic makes them slow down. Next, they take the cars onto a service road. They wait for traffic to clear. Then,
Are you gonna honk?
Really what goes on in my mind is, am I going to live through this?
Chris blows the doors off the Supra. But look closely. A completely unaware motorist crosses our path at an intersection. Later, Chris downplays the danger.
I think when we were racing the Supra, I think we pulled to about 130 or so. The reason why we didn't go any faster is because we were both pulling up on a car. Should that car not have been there, I'm sure we probably would have pulled 150, 160.
Chris gets in a few more races and wins before he calls it quits for the night and calls home.
Yeah, I'm alive and